Hello friends! I'm so excited to be doing a December TBR and cozy winter Christmas recommendations video, kind of all in one. We're going to start with some recommendations and then I'll show you what I'm going to be reading this month, which can also give you some inspiration, I think, for some cozy, wintry, Christmassy reads. So let's go ahead and dive in. So for starters, in terms of just a cozy series that's perfect for this time of year, fall and winter, I strongly recommend the Mountain Lodge Mystery Series by Diane Kelly. I have the third book on my TBR, So No Place Like a Home, but I have read book 1 and 2, and these are just phenomenal books. I mean, look how adorable these are. You get to read little bits from the cat Yeti's perspective. This one was very autumnal. The third book is very snowy and wintry. And then this one, I'm not actually sure when it takes place, but again, it is in a mountain lodge, like up in the forest. So I feel like it's just a really great wintry cozy. Our main character is Misty. She's 50 years old, and in the first book, she's just had an amicable divorce with her husband. They have 2 adult sons together who are off at college. And she decides to reinvent herself by opening this mountain lodge. And she has this very dilapidated, like, just very, like, run-down property she gets, and it's just amazing. The relationships in this are great. The clue that, like, reveals it at the end, the reveals have been so good in this series. I would strongly recommend it, especially for fall or winter. If you're looking for the ultimate Christmas cozy mystery series, I could not recommend Jacqueline Frost's series more. I am totally caught up in the series. I've read all 5 books. This is the 4th book in the series, Stalking Around the Christmas Tree. This is part of the Christmas Tree Farm mystery series. It's incredible. In fact, my patrons and I are going to be reading book 1 in the series, which I think is called The 12 Sleighs of Christmas this month. So I'm going to be listening to that in audio, which is actually, fun note, if you do have an Audible membership, it's included till the end of December. So just a side note, if you're looking for an audiobook to curl up with this December, I would really recommend this series. I'm so looking forward to rereading book 1. And I mean, the whole town, it's called Mistletoe. It's called Mistletoe. It takes place in Maine. It always takes place during Christmas. The character lives on a Christmas tree farm. There's like a B&B. Her friend owns a cupcake shop. There's Christmas events galore. There's reindeer games. I mean, it is the most Christmassy, cozy I have ever read in my life. I could not recommend this series more. It's so fun. A book that I haven't read yet, but I feel very comfortable recommending because I've read all the other books leading up to it in the series, is Deck the Donuts by Ginger Bolton. This is part of the Deputy Donut mystery series, and how cute is this cover? I love it. And this one involves like an ice sculpture festival where Emily is going to be making an ice sculpture out of like donut shaped items, and then a tour bus breaks down and all these people in the small town are trying to shelter the people in the tour bus and like take them into their homes because they don't have enough rooms to put them up in. And then of course a body is found near the ice sculptures. So I'm so excited. If you are someone who enjoys a foodie cozy mystery, the donuts are so delicious in this. Emily is a great character. She has a past as a 911 operator, and she also is a widow. Her husband was a police officer and he died in the line of duty, so there is kind of a subplot with that is really compelling and really fleshes her character out. And then I love her cat Depp. He's a mischievous little guy, and the mysteries for the series have been excellent. So even though this is what I'm planning on reading this month, I have read the first 4 in the series and they've been amazing. Like, I've been flying through the series. Couldn't recommend it more. If you're looking for snowed in isolation vibes in a cozy mystery, I couldn't recommend Public Anchovy #1 by Mindy Quigley more. This is part of the Deep Dish Mystery Series. It does take place in Wisconsin. And in this particular one, there's a prohibition-themed fundraiser taking place at this big estate. I do feel like you can jump around in this series. I have read them in order, but I feel like you could jump around in this series. This is book 3, I want to say, but they are snowed in at this big estate. Like, they are blocked off on the roads. There is Butterball the cat, who is by far one of my all-time favorite cozy mystery, like, sidekick animal characters. So much personality in this cat. The main character, I think, especially in the first book, can be a little abrasive, but you really grow to admire her tenacity, at least I did, and I love a lot of her friends and the side characters in the series. The mysteries are great, the pizza is amazing, Butterball the cat is amazing, and this one's got the snowy isolation big mansion vibes that I love. Another series that might seem a little bit odd for winter, but the first book does take place during winter and actually involves them being quite snowed in, is the Ice Cream Parlor mystery series by Abby Collette. So I don't actually have book 1 anymore. That one's called A Deadly Inside Scoop. I'll pop a picture on screen, but I have caught up in the series. I hope there's more coming out. Let me know if you do, if you know anything about that, because I haven't heard anything. but this is such a good series. This takes place in Chagrin Falls, Ohio, so the first book takes place during winter. The main character is kind of reopening up her family's ice cream creamery, which is called Cruz Creamery because their last name is Cruz. Her grandmother really was the one who was the creative mind behind the ice cream parlor with the flavors originally, and Bronwyn, our main character, has come back from like kind of a marketing school background, and she's decided to revamp her family's like longtime business and take it over, and there's so many endearing family moments. There is a cute cat. I just love her crazy kooky friends. I think Bronwyn is a very reliable, awesome character. She really cares about the people around her, and the first book did have some really good snowy scenes in it, so if you're looking for a winter read to start off, I would recommend this series. This is the only one on the list that isn't a cozy mystery, but I just have to include it because it's so heartwarming and wintry, and that's Marmee, a novel of Little Women by Sarah Miller. So this is an offshoot of the original Little Women, and it's told from the mother's perspective, Marmee's perspective. So if you are a fan of Little Women, I could not recommend this more. I was so nervous to pick this up a few years ago because Little Women is like my favorite classic. I mean, I have reread it over a dozen times. I love that book. It's like the words of it are written on my soul, okay? I love Little Women. So I was very nervous to read this, but this is so simultaneously cozy and heartwarming and heart-wrenching. There's some really deep moments in this because you're seeing the events through the mother's eyes instead of the girl's eyes. So throughout the book, the girls are in their teens, maybe young adults, so they're not seeing everything as harshly because their mother tries to shield them sometimes. And so some of the things that she goes through are really interesting and really kind of flesh out some of the parts of the original story in a very believable way, which I like. And I just think Little Women in general is one of the most perfect seasonal reads for fall and winter because it's just, there's so many Christmas scenes and just like wintry, snowy scenes, and I just couldn't recommend this more. I mean, just look at this cover. If that's not the epitome of winter, I don't know what it is, but it's so sentimental. If you are someone who likes Little Women, I would recommend reading this. It is a little bit more, there's definitely some darker moments in it, but it is still so cozy and heartwarming. It will make you cry, it will make you laugh, it will make you feel everything. If you're looking for a really emotional read, I would recommend that. For another cozy mystery recommendation, this general series is what I would recommend for winter. There are only 3 books out, unfortunately. That's all that ever came out. I wish there were more, but it's by Paige Shelton. This is the Dangerous Type mystery series, and the one I have in my hand right now is Comic Sans Murder. And this takes place in Star City, which is this quirky, charming little town in Utah that's a ski town. So as you can imagine, there are a lot of skiing and wintry scenes in this. Like in this particular book, they actually find a foot in a ski boot, and that's it. And that's what starts the mystery. So there's a lot of very wintry scenes. Our main character Claire runs the shop called Dangerous Type with her grandfather Chester, who is this very awesome man. He's just so sweet. I love him to death. And her niece also works in the shop, so it's a very family-centric, cozy, and they repair typewriters, they sell old like stationery, they repair books, so it's a very bookish, cozy, and it's set in a ski town, and it's just perfect for this time of year. I would really recommend it. I found this to be so fascinating. There was a lot of interesting kind of geological based mysteries, like with mining and stuff like that, because of the setting, and I just thought that was so interesting. One I read last year and I just loved so much is Spoon to be Dead by Dana Mentink. This is the Shake Shop mystery series, and I'm so excited to share that this series is continuing because when I read this, I thought this was the last book in the series, but book 4 just came out. So I'm very, very excited. I was so relieved to hear that. But this is a very Christmassy cozy. The second book is autumnal. The first book, I don't think it had a particular seasonal theme that I can remember. But this one takes place where they're having a Christmas party on a steamboat, and our main character Trinidad Jones has been hired to do like ice cream and shakes themed after holiday flavors, and it's so fun, and there's a lot of found family in this. There's a cute dog named Noodles. I love this series so much. I cannot express how excited I am for this to continue. If you're looking for a Christmassy cozy, this is a great one. I feel like you could jump into this. I would probably read them in order, but you can, this one's not too far into the series, so you could probably jump in if you are really looking just to dive into the Christmassy goodness. But I love this series. It's delicious, it's delightful, there's found family, there's a lot of like kind of a like really strong friendships between women, which I really love. I just thought these were so well written and the mysteries are excellent. As for my TBR, I am excited to read It Came Upon a Midnight Shear, a Riverbank knitting mystery by Ali Pleater. I think this is book 2 in the series, so I am diving in. I did not read book 1, but this is the only one my library has. And basically, the downtown shops, including Yarn, which is the knitting shop, are going to be doing this like Christmas community tree lighting. Something goes wrong, and that's kind of our basic premise. And there is a bulldog. I think it's an English bulldog. But I've been really into crafty mysteries, and I feel like crafty mysteries are especially great for fall and winter when we're indoors more and thinking about maybe crafts and knitting and coziness. So I'm really excited to try this because I haven't read anything by this author. Another one I would really love to read is by Mary Higgins Clark. So I don't know if this is pure cozy, but from what I've read of her before, she's never too graphic, so it's like general mystery, but on the lighter side, I would say. And this one is called Santa Cruz, a holiday mystery at sea. And this is actually written by her and her daughter Carol. Look at this cover. I actually found this in a free little library a couple months back, and I've been saving this, and I'm so excited. I'm gonna read these off because I'm never gonna get all these descriptions off the top of my head. So we have one character who's a lottery winner turned amateur sleuth, her husband who's a recently hitched private detective, a groom, a head of the NYPD major case squad, and Reagan's parents, Nora and Luke, and they're all guests on the Royal Mermaid's maiden voyage, the Santa Cruz. And basically these characters bond together to discover these criminals on the cruise ship while they're in the middle of the water, so isolation trope, which I love, and they aren't even on the guest list for these parties, and they gotta figure out who they are. I just realized there's a hand gripping that wreath. Am I the only person who didn't notice that? Alright, but I'm excited because I personally love anything with isolation setting. I love a Christmas mystery, and it takes place on a cruise ship, which I think is really fun. So I'm so excited to read another Mary Higgins Clark. As previously mentioned, this is Snow Place for Murder by Diane Kelly. This is the one I haven't read from the Mountain Lodge Mystery series, but as you can see, the cover is perfect. So they're actually, her sons are coming back for a weekend for snowboarding at the ski resort. They find a body covered in the snow, and that's kind of what gets us going. It's a vacation on thin ice. Like I said, I couldn't recommend the series enough. It's so well written, and unfortunately I believe this is the last book in the series, which is just breaking my heart because I love it so much. Another one I've been meaning to get to like the last winter or two and I just didn't get to was Thin Ice by Paige Shelton. So this one is, I believe it's technically cozy, but it does seem a little bit more intense. Our main character is Beth, but she's known better by her pen name, and she's actually kidnapped by a crazed superfan. She escapes and is in this like isolated wintry town in the middle of nowhere, and she comes across this mystery in this town about this woman who people think has maybe committed suicide, but the local police and locals don't think so. So she kind of gets involved in that mystery while trying to hide from the stalker. So it doesn't sound, I feel like I see it on cozy lists, but I'm not actually sure how cozy it is. It seems like a little more intense, but I do want to read this for winter. It just looks like a perfect read. This next one, I promise I'm going to finally read. It's Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. I meant to read this during fall, didn't get to it, but if you are familiar with the general plot of this, basically there's a bunch of strangers on this train, including Hercule Poirot, the famous detective. They have to like stop the train because it's like snowed in, I think. Like the tracks are too filled with snow, and a passenger is found dead in one of the compartments, and Hercule Poirot goes around interviewing everyone. So I've been meaning to read this for a while, and this is definitely a very wintry, snowy mystery, so I can't wait to finally read this one. I actually have had the ending spoiled for me, unfortunately, but I'm still really excited to see how it comes together. Another book series I'm really interested in continuing this winter is the Joss Miller mystery series by Tiora Moody. This is book 2. It's called A Lot of Mayhem, and it actually does take place, so this particular book does take place during the summer. The first book took place during fall, but the newest release in the series, book 3, just came out, and it's a Christmas one. There's no paperback yet that I could see, but I really want to read this book this month and then hopefully check that one out or purchase that one on like Kindle so I can read it as an ebook. Because basically Joss Miller is a barista / true crime podcaster, so you get to read parts of the true crime podcast, which I really like, throughout the book. And I found that to be super interesting. The cafe that she works at is very art supportive, so there's a lot of art events, and in this one she gets involved with an artist who was murdered and like some kind of cold case with an artist, and so she gets involved solving that. I'm really excited to see where this goes. Book 3, the Christmassy cover gets me. I'm so excited for that one especially. Another one that I don't know the time of year this one takes place in, but it's just a personal goal of mine to read this year, is Ill-Fated Fortune by Jennifer J. Chow. It's the first in the Magical Fortune Cookie mystery series. I am a big fan of Jennifer J. Chow's writing. I think she is a fabulous author. I've loved a lot of her other cozy series, and I can't wait for this. The main character is Felicity. This takes place in California, and she actually starts to write custom fortune cookie messages. And they work with her family. She works at this magical bakery. Her mother is a very talented baker, but she's always been kind of a mess in the kitchen. But she starts to write these fortunes and people love it until she writes a fortune that's kind of ominous and that person is murdered. And the police want to know, how did she know to write this fortune? And she kind of gets herself into some hot water. I thought this would be really fun. Again, I have no idea honestly what time of year this takes place in, but this was a mystery series that I had wanted to start this year, so I have that on my TBR this month because I need to finish it before the end of the year. Another series I'm very excited to continue is by Carol J. Perry. This is the second in the Haunted Haven mystery series, and it's called High Spirits, and this is a Christmas one. It doesn't look Christmassy, like there's nothing really Christmassy about the cover. It does take place in Florida, so it's definitely not like a snowy cozy mystery, but the main character is working on this like Christmas movie festival with the characters downtown, and she works at a haunted B&B. And it's just the right amount of just slightly hauntedness. Like she can talk to the ghosts and stuff, she can see them, but it's not excessively supernatural. So if you're someone who just likes a touch of supernatural in your cozies, you'd probably really like this. There's also a really adorable dog named Finn, who is a failed service dog because he's too friendly, which is not a failure in my opinion. And they basically have this vintage movie theater in town, and they're gonna do the 12 Days of Christmas and show these different Christmas movies, but no one bothered to tell her, since she's new in town, that the Paramount, where the vintage movie theater, is haunted by a ghost, and then a murder happens. It might be tied to the past. We're gonna see. I wish it looked a little more Christmassy, the cover, but it's still really fun and I'm excited to read it. The other series I really need to fly through this month is by Jen McKinley. It's the Library Lovers Mystery Series. This is called Fatal First Edition, and this is the book that comes right before the Christmas one in this series. So I am on hold at my library for that one. I think it's called A Merry Little Murder Plot. I'll put it on screen, but I'm trying to get through this one, and this one actually takes place on a train, which I love. Again, isolation trope. Lindsay and her husband are at a popular library conference in Chicago to hear book restoration specialist Brooklyn Wainwright give a keynote address. And after they arrive, they board the train back to Connecticut. Rumors that the Highsmith novel has gone missing buzz among the passengers. And I just noticed this is a library copy, but it's signed. How fun is that? I think that is so cool. But I'm really excited to read this, and then the Christmas one I have on hold to hopefully get before Christmas. We're gonna cross my fingers. I really want to read that one. And then last but not least, certainly, I have Patterns of Murder, which is the first 3 books in the Needlecraft mystery series by Monica Ferris. I have read Cruel World, but I really want to continue this series. I know A Stitch in Time is book 3, and it does take place during the winter. I believe book 1 does as well. It does take place in Minnesota, so we're talking like intense winter, but I need to read book 2 and then get to 3. This is a really interesting needlecraft mystery series, and Betsy is our main character, and she arrives in this small town in Minnesota to work at her sister's needlecraft shop. In the first book, her sister is murdered. That's what gets her involved with sleuthing. I haven't read that book in quite a while, so I'm gonna have to reacquaint myself with the characters a bit, but I am really excited to read this. Another one I'm super excited to read is by Ellen Byron, and this is part of her Cajun country mystery series, and I have been listening to this on audio. I listened to Plantation Shutters last month, and it was fantastic. Cajun country, the main character is very spunky. She's helping her family like kind of get their B&B kind of financially solvent again, and I just really enjoyed the characters with this. Her grandmother is a hoot. The mystery was so good. The ending, like the show off, I was shocked. And book 3 in this series is, I think it's called The Cajun Christmas Killing or something like that. So I'm trying to listen to book 2 on Audible right now while it's still included, and then get to book 3, which I have on hold. And that is my December TBR. It's a little It's a little massive. It's ambitious for sure, but I'm hoping to get a lot of reading done this month, and I hope this inspired your December reading and gave you some inspiration if you're looking for some cozy Christmas or wintry reads. I am so excited for this season. Thank you guys for hanging out with me today, and if you enjoyed this video, please hit subscribe if you're not already. I do post new cozy book content every week on this channel. Anything in the mystery genre, so whether that's cozy mystery to thriller, I talk about it here. We do lots of cozy reading vlogs together. I'd love it if you'd stick around, and don't forget to let me know down below in the comments what is your favorite winter or Christmas read. I would love to know. I'm always looking for new suggestions. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys really soon. Bye!